Whoever is guided is only guided for the benefit of his soul. And whoever errs only errs against it. Because no one will suffer in his place. And no bearer of burdens will bear the burden of another. We cannot put the blame on anybody else on that day. Right now, what do? When we're doing something wrong, we put the blame on the parents, on the husband, on the children, on the friends, on the society, on the teachers, on the boss, whoever it may be. We easily put the blame on other people, freeing ourselves of responsibility. However, on that day, no one can carry our burden. And never would we punish until we sent a messenger. A messenger who would tell people the difference between right and wrong. And when we intend to destroy a city, we command its affluent, but they defiantly disobey therein. So the word comes into effect upon it, and we destroy it with complete destruction. And how many have we destroyed from the generations after Nuh? And sufficient is your Lord concerning the sins of His servants, as acquainted and seeing, خَبِيرًا بَصِيرًا. Whoever should desire the immediate, مَنْ كَانَ يُرِيدُ الْعَاجِلَةِ, immediate, meaning he wants the reward for his efforts here, right now, in this world. So whoever's goal is this world, Allah says, we hasten for him from it what we will to whom we intend. Meaning, yes, then he will get something of what he wants here in this world. He cannot have everything. He cannot have everything. And ultimately, we can try all we want, but the results that we get can only be those which Allah allows. There are so many people who work so hard to make money, but do they get very rich? No, they don't. There are so many people who work so hard to have their body in perfect condition, but do they get there? No, they don't, despite all their effort. Right? So, we will give to whom we want. But then we have made for him hell, which he will enter to burn, censured and banished. Why? Because he never aimed for the akhirah. He never wanted reward in the afterlife. But whoever should desire the hereafter, his goal is Jannah. He's passionate about the akhirah. And he exerts the effort due to it. Meaning it's not just that he wants to go to paradise. He wants that Allah should be happy with him. No, he also puts in the due effort. Just as if a person wants a particular degree, then he can't just go to the university and go speak to the registrar. Please, please, please. Come on, I really want it. Come on, just issue one for me. What's the big deal? Right? Can it happen? You can beg all day. You can bribe them with money. Even you're not going to get it. And if you do, it's going to be a crime. It's going to be a crime. What is needed? You have to put the right amount of effort. The due effort is required. So likewise for the home in Jannah, you have to exert the effort which is due to it. While he is a believer, it is those whose effort is ever appreciated by Allah. The one whose goal is Jannah. You know, the Prophet ﷺ, when he was building the masjid with the Ansar and Muhajirin, and the Muhajirin had just left their homes, their families in Makkah, and now they had come to Medina. They had nothing. They didn't know what the future held for them. And the Prophet ﷺ, as he's building the masjid with them, he's saying, Allahumma la aisha illa aisha al-akhirah. Oh Allah, there's no life except the life of the hereafter. Meaning this life, you don't call this life. I mean, it's got its problems. It's got its hardships. The real life of enjoyment is where? In the hereafter, because it's endless. Likewise, we learned that when he was digging the trench, when 10,000 people came outside of Medina in order to attack the Muslims, the Prophet ﷺ was digging the trench, and again he's saying, Allahumma la aisha illa aisha al-akhirah. So when we go through problems in life, that's just a reminder that look, this life is not worth striving for. This life is not worth placing all your hopes in. No, there's something more than this life. Don't aim for that which is temporary, which is barely in your hands. Rather aim for that which is permanent, which is everlasting. Once the Prophet ﷺ said to Abu Dharr radiallahu anhu that, "Oh Abu Dharr, I do not wish to have gold or silver like Mount Uhud." Have you seen Mount Uhud? Have you seen it? Just go on Google Maps, all right? And type in Uhud, Mount Uhud. And you'll be amazed at how huge this is. Because it's not just a mountain, it's like a range. Okay? It's a very long series of mountains. The Prophet ﷺ said, I do not wish to have gold or silver like Mount Uhud, except that I should spend it in the way of Allah. Meaning, if I were to get it, I want to spend it all in the way of Allah. And the day I die, I do not wish to have from that even a qirat with me. Qirat is very small amount. Meaning, I wouldn't like to keep even a little bit of it with me for this world. I would like to send all of it for where? For my home in Jannah. Abu Dhar said, Ya Rasulullah, qintar? And qintar is bigger than qirat. Alright? And the Prophet ﷺ said, no, qirat. I am talking about akhirah. I want akhirah. And you're talking about dunya? You want dunya? That you're saying that I should have more? No, I don't want even this much. So stop suggesting even accidentally that I should have more than a little bit. The Prophet ﷺ, how much he desired the home of the hereafter. Which is why every day, everything that he did was focused towards Allah's pleasure. Even when he ate, he thanked Allah. Even when he rode on a mount, he remembered Allah. He remembered Allah all the time, because this is the reality of the one who wants the home of the hereafter. And you see, the person who's passionate about Jannah, then he can never rest. He can never ever think that, okay, what I've learned is enough and what I've done is enough. No. Have you ever seen a businessman, a person who's making a lot of money, just sitting on his money? What happens? If one business is thriving, what do? I need to enter into another business, another contract. Isn't it? I mean, you see these agents who sell property, real estate agents, right? They're selling homes, and then what happens? They start selling prime property, and then they start selling bigger and bigger property, and they move on, and then they have these other people working for them. The name is theirs, but other people are working for them. Why? Why isn't it that they're content with what they have? Because the person who wants money, he's never satisfied with little money. He wants to grow his money more and more and more. It's like an addiction. And the person who wants Jannah, then again, he's not satisfied with the little that he's made. You know, some people are business-minded. Other people are akhirah-minded. We need to see, what am I? To each category, we extend to these and to those. Meaning to the dunya seekers and the akhirah seekers. Allah gives to both from the gift of your Lord. And never has the gift of your Lord been restricted. Look how we have favored in position some of them over others. But the hereafter is greater in degrees of difference and greater in distinction. We worry about the difference in ranks, the difference in position, status here in this world. And it hurts us that there is one person who's making 80K and I'm making only 40 or 30 or something like that, right? Or you find out that so-and-so is making so much money and I'm making less than them. What's our goal? What can I do to make more money? Get another degree? Fine, I'll do it. Isn't it? Because it bothers us. We want to be the best of the best. Allah says that the ranks of the hereafter, they are much bigger in difference. Much bigger. So that is what you should be worrying about. Now in the following verses we are given certain commands, about 15 commands. Let's see what we have to do in order to make it to Jannah. لا تجعل مع الله إلها آخر. Do not make us equal with Allah, another deity, and thereby become censured and forsaken. And your Lord has decreed that you do not worship except Allah, except Him. And to parents, good treatment. Because the best deed is to worship Allah alone and to be good to parents. The Prophet ﷺ was asked, what deeds are the best? He said to perform the daily prayers at their times. To perform the prayers at their correct times. He was asked, what next? He said to be good and dutiful to one's parents. So first of all, the haqq of Allah. Worship Him alone. And secondly, being good to the parents. Whether one or both of them reach old age while with you, meaning either your mother or your father, say not to them as much as uff. Don't even say the smallest word of irritation to them. Then what about big words? In loud voice. Coming in, in sentences, one string of sentence after the other. Expressing frustration and anger towards parents. Allah says, don't even say uff. Then can we say to our mother, what's your problem? Can we say that? That's worse than uff. Can we say to our mothers, leave me alone? That's worse than uff. It's worse. Okay? And do not repel them, but speak to them a noble word. You see, What's mentioned over here, وَقُلْ لَهُمَا قَوْلًا كَرِيمًا. Your honor is in your hand. The way you speak to the other is the way they will speak to you. If you want your mother to speak nicely to you, just fix how you speak to her. Simple. Because it is not possible that one person is yelling and the other is, talking normally, except that the first person will also lower their voice. They will lower their voice. So if you want to change other people's behavior towards you, first of all, modify your behavior. And after all, that is all that we have control over. Isn't that so? We don't have control over the behavior of other people, but we can control ourselves. And remember, we are answerable to ourselves. We will not be asked why your mother yelled at you, but we will be asked, why did you yell at her? You understand? We will not be asked why your mother was rude to you. We will be asked why you were rude to her. Each person is going to be asked about their deeds. So we need to be concerned about what we can do. Speak to them a noble word and lower to them the wing of humility out of mercy. Meaning show mercy to your parents. Especially when they've reached old age. As they're aging, show mercy to them. Be kind to them. And say, رَبِّ ارْحَمْهُمَا كَمَا رَبَّيَانِي صَغِيرًا. Oh my Lord, have mercy upon them as they brought me up when I was small. Make dua for your parents. Allah is teaching us to make dua for our parents. And the person who does not make dua for his parents, he is truly zalim. He is truly unjust. That the parents have done so much for the children. Physically, emotionally, mentally, financially. So much they have done for their children. And this child, now that she's independent and married, she doesn't even make dua for her parents once a day? Really? Think about it. Could we be what we are today if it wasn't for the efforts of our parents? No matter how they are. Did they not care about our education, about our health, about our clothing? They spent on us, right? We were a major part of their life, their concern. So, at least make dua for them, whether they're alive or they have passed away. This should be in our daily du'as. رَبِّ ارْحَمْهُمَا كَمَا رَبَّيَانِي صَغِيرًا. Making dua for our parents every day. This should be a part of our daily habit. Set some routine for yourself. Like for example, my mother, what she had done was that she had this dua in her mushaf. In her mushaf, like at the front of it or at the back of it, I don't know which side, but she had it on one side of it. Why? Because every time she'd open it to recite Qur'an, she would be able to make dua for her father who had passed away. So this is something that we can also do. For example, after your salah, or because this is an ayah of the Qur'an, so you can't exactly recite it in your sujood or ruku', but you can definitely say it as Allahumma Rabbi irhamhuma kama rabbayani saghira. Right? Or don't recite it as Qur'an, make it as a dua. Alright? And you could do it after salah. You could write it down somewhere beautifully. And when your mother will see it, she'll also be happy with you. Right? رَبِّ ارْحَمْهُمَا كَمَا رَبَّيَانِي صَغِيرًا. You see, parents are most in need of our du'as. If you try to financially help your parents, they don't need that help. Many times they'll say, we don't want it. Even when you try to cook for her, she'll say, I cook better than you. Isn't it? It happens. So then you wonder, what can I do? I want to make their life easy. What can I do? Make dua. That is what they need most when they're alive and when they have passed away. Because what they need is Allah's mercy. That is what they're most in need of. As they're aging, as they're struggling through health issues, as they're struggling through their problems in their life, you can't do much to solve their problems. You cannot. And for us, perhaps those problems might not even seem as real problems. For example, financial responsibility. This itself is such a huge burden. Really, when you think about your father, think about how hard he works. How hard he works, making money and spending all or most of it just to provide for the family. Just to provide for the family. And what's his concern? He wants to make more money to make your life easier for you. So can you pay him back? What can you do? رَبِّ ارْحَمْهُمَا كَمَا رَبَّيَانِي صَغِيرًا. Your Lord is most knowing of what is within yourselves. Meaning He knows what you go through, O children. when you're dealing with your parents. There are times when you try so hard to please them and they never get happy. Allah knows what is in your heart. If you should be righteous in intention, then indeed He is ever to the oft returning, forgiving. Allah knows the state of our heart. That why are we respectful towards our parents? What's the main reason? Why is it that we are obedient to them? Is it so that we can impress the people who are around us? Oh, she's so obedient to her mother. She's so good to her mother. Or is it to get a big portion of their money? What's the real intention? Allah knows. If it's not for Allah, then this effort is a waste. It's a waste. And if it's for Allah, and despite your best efforts, they never become happy, then again, you are safe. So, when we are good to our parents, what should the intention be? I'm doing this for Allah. Because Allah has ordered me, this is why I'm not going to be rude to my mother. Allah has ordered me, this is why I have to be good towards my father. I am doing this in obedience to Allah. And when you're doing it in obedience to Allah, then what will happen? Regardless of whether your parents are good, happy or not, you are safe. And at the same time, just keep seeking forgiveness from Allah. In a hadith we learned, the Prophet ﷺ, he once passed by Abdullah bin Ubay. Remember Abdullah bin Ubay? Who was he? The hypocrite, right? And the Prophet ﷺ, when he passed by, Abdullah bin Ubay said something very vulgar, very rude. And his son, whose name was also Abdullah, and this shows the arrogance of this man, right? That he gives his name to his son. Anyway, even though there's nothing wrong with the name, but it just shows you about the person, right? It just shows you about the person, that he's so proud of himself that he gives the exact same name that he has to his son. So anyway, his son Abdullah, he was a sincere believer. And when he heard that his father had said something so rude and vulgar to the Prophet ﷺ, he went to the Prophet ﷺ and said, "By the one who has honored you and revealed the book on you, if you wish, I will bring my father's head to you." This is something really serious. But this shows how angry this person was. And the Prophet ﷺ said, "La, no. Walakin, but be good to your father. Go and be good to your father." What does this teach us? That even if the parents are sinful, they are doing something that's clearly wrong, haram. Even if they're not Muslim, still, what is our responsibility as children? Be good to parents, regardless of how they are and who they are. As long as they're living and we are living, we have to be good to them. The Prophet ﷺ, once a man came to him and he said that, "I want to do hijrah, ya Rasulullah. I want to give bay'ah to you, and I've left my parents weeping." And the Prophet ﷺ said, "Go back and make them laugh as you made them weep." Meaning, when a person has made his or her parents cry, then they have to do something to make their parents happy and pleased. They have to do something to bring a smile on the face of their parents. And the disobedient child, the Prophet ﷺ said, Allah will not admit in paradise, nor look at this person on the Day of Judgment. Who? The one who is disobedient to his parents. So this is something very serious. And give to the relative his right, and also the poor and the traveler. And do not spend wastefully, meaning be good to the entire society. Not just your parents, not just your family, but be concerned about the entire society. But do not spend wastefully. Why? Because indeed the wasteful are brothers of the devils. And ever has Satan been to his Lord ungrateful. What is tabdhir? Ibn Mas'ud radhiyallahu anhu said that tabdhir, mubadhirin, are those who spend in wrong avenues. Wrong avenues. How? By spending where a person should not spend. Or spending more than what one should spend in a certain cause. So firstly, to spend where he should not be spending. And secondly, spend more than what is needed. More than what is necessary. These are both forms of tabdhir. And this is something serious, because Allah says such people are the brothers of the devil. Those who waste their money. When we get money, we think we can spend it. We can waste it like water. Just spend it freely. Freely. Without any worry and concern. But this is something that's not right. The Prophet ﷺ said, the feet of the son of Adam shall not move from before his Lord on the Day of Judgment until he is asked about 5 things. And of those 5 things is his wealth and how he earned it and how he spent it. How he earned his money and how he spent his money. And wasting money is something that's disliked by Allah. The Prophet ﷺ said, Allah has hated for you 3 things. Qeel wa qal, he said, she said. And secondly, wasting money. And thirdly, asking too many unnecessary questions. Or asking others for something excessively. Meaning begging people. Asking them all the time. Can you do me a favor? Can you do me a favor? Can you do this for me? This is something that Allah does not like for His servants. So wasting money when it comes to buying clothes, when it comes to buying food, shopping, all of that, we need to be careful. Is it really worth it? You know, yesterday somebody was telling me that, you know, the glasses, so this nose resting, right? She said that one of them broke off. She lost it. So she went to this optician, right? And she asked if she could get a new set. And they said it's going to cost $20. And she's like, I've had it done before. I don't think it's $20. So she got a little upset and she left. And she went to another store and they said, it's going to cost $3. $3. Okay? Now, I was thinking when she was telling me I left, I was like, you know what? I'd rather value my time and spend $20. But then when I noticed the significant difference, this would be a waste. Isn't it? It's a waste. And when you're wasting money, you're helping the cause of shaitan. You're like a brother to shaitan. Why? Because this man is lying when he's saying that it's $20 when it's not worth $20. Right? So this culture of lying and abusing other people and taking from them what is their right, this is promoting the cause of shaitan. So we might think that, oh, I have a lot of money, I can spend it. No. But when you're wasting money on things that are unnecessary, you're promoting the cause of shaitan. And if you must turn away from the needy, awaiting mercy from your Lord, which you expect, then speak to them a gentle word. And do not make your hand as chained to your neck, or extend it completely and thereby become blamed and insolvent. Meaning be moderate when you spend. Do not exceed these limits. Don't be extravagant and don't be stingy. Because if you do that, then what will happen? You'll be criticized by people and you will criticize yourself also. Because when you will waste all your money, you'll be unable to look after your needs. The Prophet ﷺ said that every day 2 angels come down from the heaven and one of them says, "Oh Allah, compensate every person who spends in your cause." And the other angel says, "Oh Allah, destroy every miser." This is a daily dua that these 2 angels make. "Oh Allah, destroy every stingy person, selfish person." Indeed, your Lord extends provision for whom He wills and restricts it. Indeed, He is ever concerning His servants acquainted and seeing. And do not kill your children for fear of poverty. We provide for them and for you. Indeed, their killing is ever a great sin. Which means that children should not be killed before they're born and even after they're born. وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا, and do not approach unlawful sexual intercourse. Don't even go near it. So any door that leads to zina, don't even open that door. Don't even open that door. Don't even go in that direction. What are the doors of zina? What are the ways, the paths that lead to zina? The Prophet ﷺ said that Allah has fixed the very portion of fornication which a man will indulge in. There would be no escape from it. The adultery of the eye is the lustful look. So the fornication of the eye, meaning the eye also commits fornication. How? Lustful look. So we should be concerned about what we're looking at. Careful about what we are staring at. Is it lawful to look at somebody's body which should be covered, but they haven't covered it? We shouldn't be staring at it, again and again looking at it. No. That would be zina of the eyes. Because you see, it takes modesty and shyness away from a person, looking at haram. Likewise, whether it's on the television or in a magazine, by the cash register, it happens. So instead of staring at the magazines and looking, no, look away, look at something else. Guard your eyes, because the zina of the eyes is lustful look. And the adultery of the ears is listening to such words, al-istima', listening to words or speech or talk that is indecent. That is indecent. Whether it comes in the form of conversation on TV, or it comes in the form of conversation in a book, or it comes in the form of some article, Or it comes in the form of listening to other people's private conversations, whatever it may be. Don't listen to it. Songs even. Right? Because in that, I don't know, it's amazing how vulgar it can be. How vulgar it can be. That these were things that were not even spoken of just 20 years ago. And now, it's like, it's standard. It's standard. Recently I was at the park with my kids and I saw these little girls. Wallahi, I think they were like 9 or 10 years old. Girls. Constantly talking about boys, boys, boys. Girlfriend, boyfriend. Girlfriend, boyfriend. He's not going to date me because I'm brown. And his parents said, I'm like, I don't want to listen to your conversations, but you're really loud. And it's amazing. Such little girls are talking about this. I don't know, I guess I've been out of the loop, so it was very disturbing for me. Very disturbing to hear those conversations even. But this is what happens. Anyway, the hadith continues, the adultery of the tongue is such speech, for her speech. And the adultery of the hand is the lustful grip. The grip, the touch. Touching what is unlawful. Touching, for example, a non-mahram man, holding his hand. And then, the adultery of the feet is to walk to the place where he intends to commit adultery. And the heart yearns and desires, which he may or may not put into effect. Meaning now he's come so close to it, he might end up doing haram. And this is what happens. It starts from little things. One door opens another door, which opens another door, which opens another door. You remember the wife of Aziz in Surah Yusuf? غَلَّقَتِ الْأَبْوَابِ. She closed all the doors because she came in many doors to hide that act. Right? And every door she tried to close. So remember, these are all doors, avenues to zina, which we need to be careful about. And do not kill the soul, which Allah has forbidden, except by right. And whoever is killed unjustly, we have given his heir authority, but let him not exceed limits in the matter of taking life. Indeed, he has been supported by the law. And do not approach the property of an orphan, except in the way that is best, until he reaches maturity, and fulfill every commitment. Indeed, the commitment is ever that about which one will be questioned. إِنَّ الْعَهْدَ كَانَ مَسْئُولًا. People will be questioned about the promises that they made. And give full measure when you measure, and weigh with an even balance. That is the best way and best in result. And do not pursue that of which you have no knowledge. Indeed, the hearing, the sight, and the heart, about all those one will be questioned. Allah will ask us about what we heard, what we said, what we thought, what we looked at. Allah will question us about our faculties. What use did we make of them? So, do not pass on what you've heard without confirmation. Just because we have heard something doesn't mean we should pass it on. And anything that we pursue, anything that we claim, anything that we pass on, remember, the ear will be questioned. Did you hear it? And if the ear did not hear, and the mouth is making it up, then who's guilty? We're guilty. The eyes will be asked, did you see? And the heart will be asked, did you know? And this is why the Prophet ﷺ said, Tuba, good news for the one who guards his tongue. Good news for the one who guards his tongue. Because if the tongue is safe, then the whole body is safe. Isn't it? And if the tongue is let loose, then what will happen? A person is not safe. The Prophet ﷺ also said that لَيْسَ شَيْءٌ مِّنَ الْجَسَدِ إِلَّا وَهُوَ يَشْكُو ذَرَبَ اللِّسَانِ. There is nothing in the body except that it complains about the tongue. That you're going to get us into trouble. Every part of the body, your hand, your feet, they dread the tongue. That this tongue is going to make us suffer. It's going to get us into trouble. The Prophet ﷺ used to make dua, Allahumma matti'ni bisam'i wa basari waj'alhuma al-waritha minni wansurni ala man yazlimuni wa khudh minhu bi tha'ri. The first part of this dua, oh Allah, benefit me with my hearing and my vision. Benefit me through these faculties. Not that I am getting ruined because of them. And do not walk upon the earth exultantly. Indeed, you will never tear the earth apart. And you will never reach the mountains in height. Allah dislikes arrogant walk. Kullu dhalik, all that, its evil is ever in the sight of your Lord detested. So when Allah detests it, leave it if you want to become the beloved servant of Allah. That is from what your Lord has revealed to you, O Prophet, of wisdom. And O mankind, do not make us equals with Allah, another deity, lest you be thrown into hell, blamed and banished. Then has your Lord chosen you for having sons and taken from among the angels daughters? Indeed, you say a grave saying. Because the mushrikeen of Makkah used to say that the angels are Allah's daughters. And when they would have a daughter themselves, they would get very angry. So Allah is saying, what is this? You are ascribing daughters to me and you like sons for yourself. This doesn't mean that sons should be ascribed to Allah. Allah has no child at all. And we have certainly diversified the contents in this Qur'an that mankind may be reminded, but it does not increase the disbelievers except in aversion. Say, if there had been with him other gods, as they say, then they each would have sought the owner of the throne away. Meaning they wouldn't stay here, they would fight for the highest position. Exalted is he and high above what they say by great sublimity. Whoever is guided is only guided for the benefit of his soul, and whoever errs only errs against it, because no one will suffer